'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the fire with care, in hopes that a great American Christmas would soon be there. Well, it's finally here. Welcome to Great American Christmas.
These gays, they're trying to murder me.
Come on, if you know the words, let's go.
What do I think of her?
Yes.
I don't think of her.
Glass of red wine and a swisher. I think you get the picture.
Here I go.
Read about that in the New York fucking Post.
Back again.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
We haven't a live show. We're recording this as a live show.
There
for
is
the
an
very
audience.
First time. This is the first live show in the history of Eating for Free. We have a special guest in my apartment today.
Yeah, they're even filming right now.
Once again, we are silencing non-binary people on the podcast. You cannot hear them because there is not a microphone present, but they are steering daggers at me currently. Everyone, just metaphorically, spiritually, emotionally, wave hello to Cerise from Big Soy Naturals, who is in the building with me currently.
I'm sure telekinetically sending
bad vibes. I'm sure there's going to be an extended bit on the next episode of Big Soy Naturals about how I am secretly a clone of a Kennedy and I've committed some immortal sin.
Like, that makes sense. That tracks.
Like demolishing a skate park to build more dressage horse riding courses. So I just eagerly await what they have to say about me after spending a week in my apartment.
I can't wait.
So we're here back again as Eating for Free, the podcast recording live from the absolute edge of the internet. My name is Local Gossip Joan Summers.
This is your local artisan, Matthew Lawson.
We're back again this week talking once again about Lori Loughlin and Candace Cameron Bure and Full House and, you know, the good old days of America when women put on an apron and baked some Betty Crocker and
work.
served it to a husband who was cheating on them all day with his secretary.
Absolutely. And it's a celebration of just, you know, American value.
That's, I think, something that we really want to like drill down on here on this particular podcast is that we support traditional values. You know, we want to return to the good days of the great American
homestead,
family.
if you will.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The heart of the home.
We're all about returning to the land. You know, we want to, you know, return to a time when women knew how to bake pies. I think it's a lost art, really, you know.
Whatever happened to the pie on the window and, you know, the little floating guy sniffing the trail of, you know, flavor? Like, come on. Like, we don't have that anymore.
I think that if there were more pies in windows and there were more guys sniffing the pies in the windows, I don't think we would have cryptocurrency. I think that there's a lot to unpack there. And I think we should explore that as we unravel the mysteries of Bill Abbott, the Hallmark CEO from hell. One of, if I will just say, the most peculiar people I think I've ever discussed, listened to episodes about, interviews from, read the words of in my entire life. And we've had quite a few characters on this podcast, like the creator of the what are those things called? The apes, Bored Apes.
Oh, Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Yeah, we've had him, and the one where it was like Bored Ape Yacht Club, but they smoked weed and hung out with Paris Hilton. We also listened to him speak too, and yet Bill Abbott is the weirdest of them all.
Definitely a conundrum. Also, have to give context that we are recording this after having watched one of Great American Family's Hallmark landmark, if you will, movies. One of the 4 that you can rent for $7.99 through their terrible app. That was difficult to find.
Did we spend $7.99 on that?
No, absolutely not.
Did we give the Christian fundamentalists
Hell
money?
no.
How did we watch that?
We watched it through a YouTube rip that was so janky and so low quality that it was actually hard to make out certain details and text within the film. At best. There was parts where there was no audio. There were parts where the cuts were scary and confusing. And we made it through. But Christmas on Candy Cane Lane, yeah, what a movie.
You can actually listen to our live commentary about that as well as actually watch it. We included the link on Patreon.
It's a truly group experience, you guys.
Pay $5 to listen to us watch a movie in which a man breaks some candy cane decorations and the Hays Code rears its ugly head. Yes, guys. Actually, the funny thing about Great American Family, and I think it's fun to situate this, we did watch this movie, and I have since perused other offerings, like just very briefly on the internet. And like almost every single plot of a Great American Family movie is a plot ripped directly out of the 1940s and 1950s Hays Code era, where it's like Christmas on Candy Cane Lane is a Christmas movie that is actually a remarriage plot in disguise.
It's about divorce, yet the word divorce is never uttered once.
Yes, no, it is about divorced people who can't say the word divorce because Jesus will kill them.
And also
it's actually in the Bible.
The reason why they separated, the complexities, the depth that comes from two people leaving each other and literally singling a child to one of them specifically. No details whatsoever.
No, we had everything in that movie too. We had army wives. We had military cops. We had regular
secret military cops.
Secret military cops. Regular cops.
We had a community board, like a PTA.
365 day year.
HOA. That was HOA drama.
There was lots of HOA drama. There was also a 365 day a year Christmas store.
Oh, and the Christmas Maven. I mean, that's like the titular like plot, really.
That only shows on like the local broadcast, like AM radio.
On the Christmas House channel that I wish existed. Yes. And so does Great American Family.
Yes. And also a Christian teenager that is actually based on the life of Abby Shapiro. So
really, it
had everything.
If our Patreon wasn't worth it, I think this is definitely the time.
That
Give
definitely
yourself a
makes
little
it worth
Christmas
it.
treat.
So we're gonna return to Bill Abbott, who one of our listeners described as the tethered of John Waters. In a way that it only makes sense if you've actually seen a photo of him, which you can go do on our Twitter.
It's so upsetting to think about.
So Bill Abbott, we're going to like resituate ourselves. It's been a week. And if you are listening for the first time, go back and listen to part 1. This is part 2. It's not going to make much sense to you if you haven't read the original scriptures, the Old Testament, if you will.
Absolutely.
So, Jesus has been born and we are about to nail him to the cross here in episode 2. Bill Abbott has said on record as of now in our current timeline that he wants Lori Loughlin to be the face of the network. He wants to return to a time when movies did not feature sex or violence. And we have seen a variety of stars at this channel voice their wildly differing opinions. We had Miss Danica McKellar, who wants everyone to know that Candace Cameron Bure is just a really nice lady with a bad haircut.
And people of people experience are welcome at this network.
Yes, Danica McKellar,
people of Christmas experience.
Yes, famously a woman who champions diversity. If in her own world, diversity means people who wear skirts that either cover their ankles or don't. We also saw some stars actually break away from Great American Family, and we read a very long letter from one of them.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about
that got into parallels with the AIDS crisis, which was the direction we
Reagan's America, quite literally.
Yes, and then also Candace Cameron Bure famously saying that gay people are not allowed to exist. So we're really in a variety of different places here, right? This is being filmed in different areas. So I did mention a few times last week that Lori Loughlin is supposedly going to be the face of Great American Family. And I think that it's important to hear directly what Bill Abbott has said about this, because this really sets off kind of where we're going to close this whole series out. So I'm getting this from Variety more recently. The headline is, quote, Great American Family CEO wants post-jail Lori Loughlin to be the face of a network. Quote, she's America's sweetheart. That's a collection of words that can be said. Yeah.
Post-carcerated.
We love that Bill Abbott is an abolitionist. I think that that's really brave of him.
That's definitely what it is.
Yes. So this is directly from Variety. Quote, CEO Bill Abbott is hopeful that Lori Loughlin will join the network. Quote, we talk 3 times a week. Wow. We have 2 scripts that she really likes, one of which will greenlight for this year or next year. Lori's a good friend and somebody who we would love nothing more than to do a movie with, and we're hopeful, Abbott tells Variety. The actor has a long-standing relationship with Abbott. Now, this is your tea. Quote, when he was CEO of Hallmark Media, then Crown Media, she led 16 garage sale mystery films for Hallmark Movies and Mysteries and starred in 56 episodes of When Calls the Heart. The network cut ties with her amid the college admission scandal in 2019. If you don't know what that is, go back and listen to our episode about
Operation Varsity Blues.
Operation Varsity Blues. Abbott also notes that the goal is to make Loughlin one of the faces of Great American Family, which recently welcomed Bure as an executive at the company, which is just, again, the fact that like Candace Cameron Bure runs a TV network that you can only get in approximately 16 states and does not have an app.
Well, they kind of have an app that has some of the films in a certain section that you can rent for $8.
We do need to just briefly talk about the app really quick. So we discussed this at length on our Patreon episode, but the app is not called Great American Family, which is pretty common for most networks to have an app that is of the same name.
It's Great American Community.
It's Great American Community, and it actually doesn't have any original Great American programming on it. It's an app where cast members, like it is the studio system back in the Hays Code era, upload vlogs that they film with their iPhones to the app. So there's
cooking videos. There's organization tips.
I think my favorite was the Christian board game making mom and daughter duo who do like day in the life of Christian mom vlogs.
It's like the most who, what, when, where content. And then half of it's just on Zoom. It's just recording Zoom calls.
It's really like if instead of making the stars rail cocaine and film 56 episodes of I Love Lucy in one day, they like pumped them full of Bible verses and told them to make a vlog.
And the wild thing is, I was looking through the comments section earlier, and people are truly into it. Like, there's lots of comments from probably that kind of Facebook mom who's like, love this content. It's so gorgeous seeing you, like, you know, I don't know, make this fucking M&M cookie or something. They're really into it. And so it's an ecosystem.
So that's the app. And then there is 2 movies available for rent, one of which is Candace Cameron's A Christmas Present for $8.99.
Which we could not zorrent at all whatsoever, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, I think it really goes to show
it's not available anywhere.
Your network has had if it is not available on any of the Yiffy derivatives and or actually I'm not going to say the site we use because we need it to remain a secret.
We need to
keep some.
Absolutely.
There are some sacred places on the internet, and our torrent site is one of them. So sorry, y'all, can't share company secrets.
But the fact that we can't even get it there or anywhere else.
No one saw these movies.
Not even like a weird Amazon plugin. It's just
I think
that
we're
one
maybe
app.
one of, if not 15 people on the face of the planet who have sat through the entirety of Christmas on Candy Cane Lane.
Oh, absolutely. And there's just no way we don't even have access to the live programming option to actually watch it live as it comes out. Because they show it literally every day.
So that's really something I think is interesting about all of this, right? You know, we get into this a little bit later because this has been noted by other people like in orbit around Great American Family, famously the Hallmark CEO, that for as all this bluster that we've heard about Great American Family and all the media attention that we have received on Great American Family and Candace Cameron Bure saying gay people can't exist and also being ceremoniously sacrificed by JoJo Siwa and one of her 26 girlfriends. I just think that like there is literally no way to watch this channel except if you have a basic cable package through DirecTV. Like you can't find it on the internet. There's not an internet channel for it. Like AMC, for instance, right? One of those like premium cable channels where you have to like bundle it with something else has an app where you can log in with your cable provider and then watch it on the app, right?
We don't even get that.
So I think it really goes to show that there is really no kind of like ecosystem around Great American Family or this Great American Community channel to like allow it to disseminate through the masses.
It really feels like that Great American Community app, which is how you access it. And also the tile cards on like the app homepage don't even go anywhere. Sorry, real quick. So it's just like, it feels like they had to modernize. Like somebody was like, you have to have an app to get this or else we will probably not sell this film. But I think it
also kind of talks about a little bit what we've heard with the Balenciaga stuff. And then in more recent episodes, what we've been talking about as people get louder and louder in Hollywood specifically about like anti-cancel culture media, which is what Great American Family is.
Absolutely.
If you listen to our last episode, Bill Abbott famously believes that he is a victim of cancel culture, as is Candace Cameron Bure. Is that like for all this press attention that it gets, the product is literally like 3 sticks being banged together in a server room somewhere in Kansas with like at most 3 monkeys manning the server room. Like there's like literally there's nothing there, right? Like these movies are made with skeleton crews with like the cheapest budgets possible.
Absolutely.
They have like skeleton crews at the network. They can't even like schedule their movies to like show on like Prime Video. They can't even like actually even get any of the like major streaming services to pick up their channel as like an alternative. The only thing that you can watch it on, I was about to say Fundy, which is an app that we made up. What are those, Matt? I am like such a bad retired evangelical. What is Christian Netflix called again?
Christian Netflix.
Remember, there is literally Christian Netflix. Faithflix. Is it Faithflix?
Oh my God. We did talk about this in a previous episode, but I can't remember either.
Can you Google that for me really quickly while I finish out this?
Let's see what we can get.
There's like something like that, right? Like that's the only way you can watch these movies, and like literally no one subscribes to it. So anyways, one last thing. Abbott says, and this is from Variety, quote, "She's America's sweetheart, regardless of whatever happened. At the end of the day, she represents all that is positive about entertainment and has a stellar career, not only on screen, but the way she's conducted herself personally," which, by the way, included paying a guy to Photoshop her daughter in a rowboat to get into UCLA. Anyways, or sorry, not UCLA, USC.
Okay, by the way, there's PureFlix.
PureFlix, that's what I'm
that was
of.
it. There's also one called Yippee, I think.
Yeah, but PureFlix is the one where it's like Christian Netflix. That's one of the only places you can
They're
see
definitely like
Family.
the top, yeah.
But
absolutely.
It's just wild to me that they have had like 50 original movies and you cannot watch them on the internet, nor can you torrent them.
It's bizarre, and they must have been filmed in like 3 days.
So she says then, quote, "Not only on screen, but the way she has conducted herself personally in terms of being someone who has a track record of doing the right thing in the world at large." Again, she went to jail. Aside from whatever happened. Again, no carceral state, but like literally famously like bribed, cheated, and stole her way into the college system. Which is what something all
just for
rich
her
people
daughter
do, right?
to do
Like
those vlogs. That's my favorite thing. We will talk about that in The Leftovers, by the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Olivia Jade, one of the stars of this particular podcast, I would say she is not just a recurring character. She is the specter that looms large.
She emanates everything we believe.
She is the
and we
sun
stand
and the
by.
moon orbiting around this podcast. The sun orbiting around the flat Earth,
Exactly.
as we've established.
Of course.
So. Quote, "I don't know the details of this yet, but she's beloved and for good reason. We're very proud of our association with her and we want to make her a part of the fabric." So, it's lots of dialogue, lots of jargon, lots of nonsense to basically say that like, we're not going to let Lori Loughlin get canceled. Hallmark might have kicked her out, but she has a home here. And it's like, okay, well, yes, but her thing that she was popular for at Hallmark got canceled, The Garage Sale Mysteries, and When Calls the Heart evicted her, and you had to make a spin-off series that you only have the streaming rights for the second season of. And she got to be a guest character in one episode.
And there's no way they're not paying her absolute dust compared to what Hallmark used to pay
and
her.
I'm sure she's taking
because
it.
she has to, I'm sure.
At least Felicity Huffman is getting Amazon Prime originals. Like,
yeah, she rebounded like that.
I mean, she didn't quite rebound. Like, she's not going to go get another Desperate Housewives.
Well,
but she kind of rebounded a little.
It was like plateau. Like, got to keep
another way that society oppresses Christian women, right? Like the Chad atheist Felicity Huffman got off scot-free, and the Christian traditionalist Lori Loughlin has been punished.
Of course.
Okay, so we're going to go back now to January 22nd, 2020, when Bill Abbott was officially evicted from Hallmark for pulling a advertisement featuring a lesbian couple preparing for their wedding registry website Zola.com from Hallmark, and then later it was put on. He left. He famously fought the network to keep it off the airs because he didn't think it aligned with Hallmark's values. We also read statements from people, inside sources last week, that alleged he was like the main ringleader in
they weren't
pulling it from the
supposed
air.
to pull it, and nobody else wanted to. It seemed like it might
and it
have
was
just
one of those things where, again, like Candace Cameron watched all of this go down and then left the network in response to Bill Abbott leaving.
And followed.
And then made a lot of comments about gay people not being welcome, and then still is mad or wondering why people think she doesn't like gay people. It just, again, there's a lot here. But we're going to go back because Bill Abbott actually gave some quotes that we glossed over last time, and I want to kind of just like unpack a little bit about what he said in the transition out of Hallmark.
I'm terrified.
This is, again, from a Hollywood Reporter. This is from January 2020, so this is not like a contemporary interview. This was even before they announced the Great American Family venture, and I believe before he incorporated the holdings company that owns it in part with one of the venture capitalist firms that gave him a huge influx of cash for it. So, quote, while Abbott has overseen tremendous growth for Hallmark Channel during his run with Crown Media, the cabler has been criticized for its lack of diversity. During the recent holiday season, the network made a big to-do about adding 2 Jewish holiday movies to its mix, though both of the titles featured a Jewish character being interwoven into a Christmas movie and not so much a mention or indication of Hanukkah in their respective titles. Hallmark Channel's lack of casting diversity on screen has also become an issue of late. Now, this is crazy. I think the generalization isn't fair either. That we have Christmas with white leads, Abbott told Hollywood Reporter's TV podcast TV's Top 5 in a November 15th interview with host Leslie Goldberg and Daniel Feinberg. When asked about Hallmark's prioritization in attracting a broad audience versus creating content that reflects society, quote, this is Abbott. In terms of broadening out the demographic, it's something we're always thinking about. We're always considering, and we'll continue to make movies where the best scripts are delivered to us and what we think have the most potential. Which is, again,
this is exactly the same thing he said about gay people. Yes. It's not off the whiteboard, but
yeah, there's no whiteboard saying no gay people. It's just if there are scripts with gay people, they tend to be bad. So we're just pushing the best forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
He continues, quote, I think Christmas has become almost a secular type of holiday, more than Hanukkah, which really does have a more religious feel, Abbott said.
What?
I think Hanukkah, from a religious point of view, is not necessarily as commercial and not necessarily as much about gift giving, and it's really about what those 8 nights signify from the religious point of view. So I'm not ruling it out as something we would not do, but this is kind of our first foray into this type of double holiday mix with a lot of Hanukkah in both movies and a lot of the celebration of how those nights are celebrated and experienced by those who practice the religion. Okay,
who wrote this for them?
This is my favorite. This is my favorite
giving
part.
Script reading at this point.
This is my favorite part. He literally just says broadly and plainly that we do this because the movies that we make are about capitalism. It is about giving gifts, getting gifts, and we just weave Jesus into those two
more
things.
Secular. But then the whole thing we were reading in the last episode was that it wasn't enough faith in the movie.
And so what he's broadly saying here, but like subtextually, right? Like he's not coming out and saying
this was during a November 15th interview.
Yes.
So it makes sense leading up to it.
Yes. Their Christmas season has just about to start. What he's basically saying is that our advertisers want us to promote the secular gift giving because the advertising we're selling is about gift giving. So if we're putting out movies where the focus of the movie isn't about buying, selling, and receiving, then like advertisers aren't going to be spending the big bucks that they do currently for the 25 days of Christmas.
It's like
that's literally what he's saying.
This is so evil to say, but it's almost like saying Hanukkah movies aren't profitable enough, but at the same time also admitting there's no way you would even try to do that from like even an evil capitalist standpoint. There is surely a way to make that profitable or to sell things related to it.
This is also,
but they don't even try that.
So he continues, quote, while the TV and film industries, among others, are embracing inclusion on screen in the executive ranks and among writers, producers, and directors, Abbott said Hallmark is, quote, open to doing any type of movie, including with gay leads, which it currently lacks as well. Now, listen to how, like, basically one-to-one this is with his comments about gay people in Great American Family. But like, I would say he's more honest here, which is worse because it got glossed over in his transition.
I mean, I'd rather hear the truth.
So what's also wild is that these were not the impetus for him leaving the channel. Him pulling that commercial is the impetus, right? But he was already saying this kind of stuff publicly before the commercial bullshit went down.
Before
and there was
HR was like, can you stop saying
there
that?
was no, at the time, like cultural cry. Now, I would say maybe in November 2020, people were focused on more than like what the president of Great American Family was saying, like maybe, but anyways, listen to this quote. We are always encouraging people to bring us stories across the board, and it's not always as simple a process where you put the word out and get back 3 great scripts and 3 great stories. We put the word out that we're doing an original series and we get 50 bad stories. So it's not as easy as I think you're making it sound, and it's certainly something that we do discuss consistently with our team and with our talent and with the agencies. The reality is, when you produce as much content as we do, which is 100 movies a year, 5 original primetime series, a daytime lifestyle show that's 2 hours a day, 52 weeks a year, basically live to tape, and countless specials, there's only so much time in the day. But I do love that out of the 100 original movies, 5 original TV shows, and the daytime lifestyle show that tapes for 2 hours a day every week of the year, there is 0 gay people. And
it just doesn't make any sense.
There's just not enough time to find the gay people. Where are they? I can't find them.
Doesn't make any sense. Or it really is like they have to be positing that the movies with gay people are just not making the cut. Like, that's the only way I can interpret this that makes sense.
He didn't stop there.
Oh, great.
Wish he did. Quote, "And while we want to put on and we believe that we do create content that is beloved really throughout the country, it's not always the easiest process to make every situation fit the mold for every individual who even wants to work with us or wants to watch a certain segment of the audience on our channel." Like,
what is that even? Again, who is writing this?
He's basically saying, oh gosh darn it, those millennials want too much diversity, and like, we can't give them what they want because they're just asking for too much from us. In the 100 movies we're doing every year, it's just too much to include.
It's very
diversity.
much giving like, oh, you kids with all your pronouns. Like,
yeah, no,
too
it's
many
literally
of them. We can't understand.
He's doing pronoun wars.
Yeah.
Now, just to be clear, I did look up Great American Family's original programming currently, because I'm like very interested in what it is that they're showing. So this is their original programming. One original TV show, which is the 2nd season of When Hope Calls, which is the
not even
spin-off
really original
from When Calls the Heart, which they acquired from Crown Media when Candace Cameron and Lori Loughlin left the network. Then every other show on their network is syndicated. Every single other show is syndicated. Are you ready for this list of syndicated TV shows?
Let's do it.
Bewitched, Facts of Life, Father Knows Best, Full House, Fuller House, Hazel, I Dream of Jeannie, The Lone Ranger, Silver Spoons, and Who's the Boss?
I mean, there's definitely a thread here in terms of target audiences.
I wonder
what it could be.
I wonder what it could be.
Oh, God.
While we ponder that, let's take a quick break.
Come on, if you know the words, let's go.
What do I think of her?
Yes.
I don't think of her.
So now we do have to talk a little bit about Bill Abbott and the history of how Great American Family became Great American Family, because I think it's kind of interesting how many iterations it went through before.
Yeah, it was rebranded like 3 times.
So famously,
acquired by different people.
Bill Abbott leaves Hallmark, kind of goes dark a little bit for about a year, and then comes out with GAC Family, which originally was Great American Country. I know.
It's so irritating.
It's really disgusting.
And it's also very close to our Discord acronym, which is hard to even take
So
Great American Country. Okay.
Great American Country starts as Great American Country, then it becomes GAC Family. So this is from Next TV. This is the press release about this. So we're gonna get it straight from the horse's mouth, or in this case, the John Waters Tether's mouth. Former Hallmark Channel head Bill Abbott is renaming his constellation of family-oriented brands, with flagship GAC Family becoming Great American Family next month. CEO of GAC Family also said cable channel GAC Living will become Great American Living. The company also has free ad-supported streaming TV channel known as Great American Adventures, and the upcoming direct-to-consumer app Great American Community.
There we go.
So that was only put out in July.
Yeah, I'm like, where is
this? Is from
Adventures
2022.
and Living? Where's those branches?
Yeah. Do you want to look that up to see if there's any information about it?
Like,
so the 4 outlets will be part of GAC Media's new Great American Media master brand. GAC Media will rename the company's legal name. Abbott launched GAC Media by buying the cable channels Great American Country, known as GAC, and Ride TV in 2021. He rebranded them as GAC Family and GAC Living, respectively, and following the playbook, programmed GAC Family with wholesome series and Christmas holiday original movies. GAC Family is Great American Family, which we have been talking about for the entirety of this series. He said in the press release, quote, fans can expect more of the same quality, family-friendly programming they have come to love from our channels, and we look forward to rolling out the new names this summer in time for the return of our original movie premieres.
Okay, so I found Great American Living and Great American Adventures. Great American Living is absolutely HGTV Magnolia Network tease, like Mountain Mamas, Real Estate Mavens Transform Fixer-Uppers in Montana's hot housing market, or Aloha Builds, brother-sister duo Michelle and David remodel Hawaiian homes using local tricks of the trade. Or literally, it's so cliche. Going RV. What's the other one they have here? Tiny House, Big Living. You get the picture. But they also circulate all the same basic, TV shows that they license out, like Hatesville.
Now, what I'm interested in, so it launched in 2014, and it created the super brand later on. But it seems like those might have predated.
It's so weird. It's giving Frankenstein. There's also, okay, by the way, so there's also Great American Adventures, but it's on Zumo TV. I've never heard of this brand before.
Zumo is one of those ones that we talked about. What are they called?
Fast, yeah. Free ad-supported television. Yeah.
We talked about that in our last Patreon episode.
Okay, so even though it's called Adventures, it's literally just cooking shows. It's almost exclusively cooking shows and restaurant reviews.
The other things on Great American Living are things like Hazel and Father Knows Best. So, again, a lot of these,
there's also Living Country or Life Gone Wild. It's very bottom of the barrel content though, off brand stuff here.
It's real bad.
I can't imagine.
I'm actually just wanting to see. So it seems like Great American Living actually only has Aloha Builds, Father Knows Best, First Time Flippers, Going RV, Growing Up Gator, Hazel, Kimberly's Simply Southern, Seaside Snacks and Shacks, Southern Barbecued Everything, Southern Fried Everything, and Tiny House Big Living. That's their entire thing.
Again, held on sticks and glue.
Yeah. Again, you can see why a lot of it's the freemium shit that you're going to find on Zumo or Pluto TV
Freevee,
or whatever.
Roku.
Yeah, Freevee. Okay, so this is from Movie Guide. Now, Matt, if you want to look up movieguide.com just to kind of get a sense of what this is, I think it's kind of...
Actually, movieguide.org? We're going .org?
Sorry, not .com, movieguide.org.
Oh, here we go. What is the Family Guide to Movies? Oh, entertainment. Oh, look, Great American Christmas right there on the homepage.
Did you get... you have an ad blocker, don't you?
Oh, I do have an ad blocker.
Okay, wait, scroll up. Is there a big blue... Read that big blue message. That's what I wanted you to read.
Okay, what is this? Well, it takes up a whole third of the page here. Dear readers, please don't scroll past this message. Now more than ever... Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. No, I was not prepared. Okay. Now more than ever, we're bombarded by darkness in media, movies, and TV. Movie Guide has fought back for almost 40 years, working within Hollywood to propel uplifting and positive content. We're proud to say we've collaborated with the top industry players to influence and redeem entertainment for Jesus. Still, the most influential person in Hollywood, you, the viewer. What you listen to, watch, and read has power. Movie Guide wants to give you the resources to empower the good and the beautiful, but we can't do it alone. We need your support. You can make a difference with as little as $7. It takes only a moment. If you can, consider supporting our ministry with a monthly gift. Thank you. Oh my God, I'm clicking this yes, I want to support Movie Guide button. What the hell? Support Movie Guide with the tax-deductible donation. Oh, yes,
okay, wait.
God.
Are you ready for this?
What? This is already a lot.
Okay, so they have plus and negative ratings for everything on their channel.
Oh, approved or rejected, basically.
So here's the ratings. Falling for Christmas with Lindsay Lohan +3. Okay, +3 rating.
How pure and good it is.
Yes. Now, Boss Baby, the Christmas movie, is a -1.
Wait, there's a Boss Baby Christmas movie.
Okay, Whitney Houston. Okay, now tell me if this feels attacked at all. Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, -2. Pinocchio, Guillermo del Toro, -1. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, +1.
Oh my God.
The Santa Clauses from Disney Plus, +1. We're getting a lot here. I just everything. Oh, Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery, -2, obviously.
I mean, if there's even a gay person adjacent, they're going to give it a negative immediately.
A Christmas Story Christmas, -1. I'm just like, I love looking.
This is insane. I'm on the same page as well. I can't believe that Christmas Story Christmas like remake or whatever sequel got -1. I'm actually shocked. Enola Holmes 2, -1.
Wait, Enola Holmes got a -1?
Yes, season 2.
Millie Bobby Brown can't win. Oh, Amsterdam, that horrible movie.
Oh, God.
-2. She-Hulk, -1.
We might agree on some things.
Lyle Crocodile, +2.
Cars on the Road season. Wait, there's a Cars TV series? I don't want to know about that. +1, though.
Oh, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, -2.
How far can you go? There are -3s on here. Let me do a little command search on the screen here. There's one. Oh, nope, doesn't get -3. Wow, there are no -3s on here.
Yeah, there's not a lot. Oh, wait, did they review Tar? No, they didn't review Tar. Damn it. Hateful. Okay, so wait, I wanted to see what they say about
RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay, wait. Boss Baby Christmas Bonus is an animated comedy introducing his brother Ted, the boss baby, to the Christmas family traditions when they were children. It has pro-family values about celebrating Christmas together and a reference to Christmas miracles. Like previous Boss Baby movies, the movie special has some funny jokes about private enterprise and economics. For example, Boss Baby grumpily calls Santa a communist and a hippie, but he causes trouble by trying to unionize Santa's elves. Movie Guide advises caution for children because of some scatological humor and the lack of overt Christian references regarding Christmas in Boss Baby.
They are working for these reviews. Okay, like they're taking note on every little thing. I didn't realize it also had like an inner ranking of like.
I think we have to watch Boss Baby Christmas.
In protest. I didn't know they had like a whole like none to light, moderate, heavy for like language, violence, sex, and nudity. I'm looking at Downton Abbey's A New Era like review.
Okay, so
but there is an entertainment quality review, like a star rating out of 5, so they can still be like, it's bad, but it's still fun to watch.
I do think it's also kind of hateful that the safe filter turn off.
Wait. Are they hiding certain things from us?
Bones and all, -4.
Oh, see, they hid
Avatar,
the movies.
wait. Oh. Avatar, The Way of Water, -3. Wait, let's see what they said about Avatar, The Way of Water.
Because it literally promotes a whole other religious system.
Avatar, The Way of Water has lots of action and jeopardy. Also, the ocean and underwater scenes are incredible. Apparently, the actors and crew had to learn how to hold their breath underwater to shoot those scenes. The main theme of The Way of Water is family. Also, Jake repeatedly says a father's duty is to protect his family. However, the movie has a fair amount of foul language, partial nudity, and lots of action, violence, and combat. It also contains false pantheistic theology references and prayers to the Great Mother and some politically correct environmentalism. Okay.
What?
No.
What does it even mean, politically correct environmentalism?
Well, because politically correct is something the cancel culture warriors want us to talk about.
Of course.
Okay, so Bill Abbott is giving interviews not to Movie Guide, but to a podcast that Movie Guide loves. So I'm getting this directly from Movie Guide, and I'm getting this from Movie Guide, one, because they are one of the only people to transcribe this podcast in full, which I think says a lot about where he went to give this interview, right? That Variety didn't pick this up. The Hollywood Reporter didn't pick this up.
Well, I mean, he knows his audience.
It was like Movie Guide and like ChristianComicBookReviews.com were like the only places I could find that had any source material about this. So I wanted to set up the source for this because I think it's funny, one, but also because I think it'll color how this interview gets portrayed in this particular write-up. Now, in a recent interview with Family Savvy, GAC Media CEO Bill Abbott discussed the future of the Great American Family Network and a new option for family-friendly social media, GAC Community. I also love that it is positioned as social media, but it is literally just
that just flew right over me. I was like, wait a minute.
They're stars filming vlogs, and they're like, it's social media.
Well, there is a comment section, so thereby it's social media.
Okay. So in 2021, Abbott left Hallmark and Crown Media to pursue a, quote, relentlessly family-friendly option, GAC Media, to help families come together and enjoy uplifting, appropriate entertainment. Now, can you look up the podcast Family Savvy for us just to kind of get some quotes from them? Okay. In just 1 year, GAC Media boasts such talent as Candace Cameron Bure, Danica McKellar, Trevor Donovan, and Jen Lilly, who value the family-friendly model that Abbott is after. Abbott notes in the podcast that even in the 90s, when he worked in cable television, culture wanted to indulge in the dark, violent, sexual presentation of edgy content. However, Abbott wants Great American Family to provide a space that promotes faith, family, and country. Words that have never been loaded ever, not once. They have no ulterior meaning. They don't mean anything. And I think that we shouldn't unpack what those mean in conjunction with each other. Now, can you read the bio on
I was going to say the family savvy is immediately apparent what type of content and audience this is set for. Lots of unreadable cursive on pastel pink backdrops. Can you describe this woman so I don't get in trouble for describing this woman? This about page.
Wait. No. Actually, I think you should get in trouble, Matt. I have a question, though. Do you have trouble describing women in general, or is it this woman?
Well, I generally have dyslexia, of course, as you know. That affects my mental cognition directly. And also, I don't know how to describe clothing. I don't know how to describe fashion.
Question though. Do you say that in your life there is a recurring pattern of being able to tell women apart?
What are you asking?
Describe a woman. Describe a woman to me right now. What is a woman? What do women?
I can describe this woman through metaphors. I can tell you this is giving Marin. I can tell you this is giving Northern
Marin.
California coastal vibes.
See, that's where you're wrong. I think this is giving Nashville.
That's know what?
Different.
You know what? You're right. Maybe Marin by way of Nashville.
Your gender dyslexia, I know in these moments,
of course,
is a hindrance. You're working to overcome that.
A pink skirt, a Gucci belt, and a sleeveless top.
Now, can you read that bio for me?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jamie. This blog is my how-to guide for modern women who want to create a welcoming home, cook fabulous meals, and stay fit and chic at any age. Grab a cup of coffee and join me on the journey to stay savvy. And again, savvy with 2 V's. Important.
Yeah, savvy with 2 V's.
Love the Rakuten get paid to shop button directly under the bio, just so you can get it real quickly.
Wait,
should I read some of this other...
This is the person with the podcast, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a blog lifestyle brand that has a podcast.
Oh yeah, a lifestyle empire.
Mm-hmm. Can I read this real quick too?
Go for
this
it.
rest of the bio here. So, hello and thank you for shopping. Thank you for stopping by Family Savvy. My name is Jamie Terrence, and I live in Birmingham, Alabama, with my husband Zane.
Okay, so I was geographically more precise.
Absolutely,
than you were.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. We are empty nesters with 3 grown daughters and 1 son, a golden doodle named Tucker.
She's a boy mom.
Sorry,
she's a boy mom.
I won't lie. When they say 3 grown daughters and 1 quote unquote son, is how they wrote it. I was like, hold up, what are we about to go with this? Family Savvy is where I share all things helpful and practical.
My quote unquote son Rocket.
I was like, I share recipes for easy weeknight meals, fabulous holiday menus, and make ahead freezer-friendly food. I also share my tested and trusted skin and beauty products and resources, and I love sharing how to style any brand clothing for a chic look. I also host the Savvy Cast podcast, where I invite you to join me in conversation about topics from food, family, marriage, relationships, and more. My guests have always shared things that will hopefully leave listeners inspired, encouraged, and savvier than before. So what did Bill Abbott say that made their listeners savvier than before?
I just love that this is who we are discussing today. What a great way to end the year. So he says, quote, however, Abbott wants Great American Family to provide a space that promotes faith, family, and country. Quote, it's a combination, too, I think, of being comfortable in the room, and then it's being comfortable even with your own self. I got so many letters at Hallmark about people who would say they'd get home from work and they'd have a difficult day, and they'd be able to turn the Hallmark channel on and just have 2 hours where they didn't have to think about dark situations, violence, sexual situations, things that create anxiety. Okay, wait, no, listen.
No triggering content? Is that what he's trying to say?
A Hallmark channel is a space where, you don't think about sex or violence or drugs.
No.
Or it don't causes anxiety, For as much as we have the specter looming over this podcast of the non-binary person who can't order their own meal, famously a specter conjured up by men like Bill Abbott when talking about the teens they encountered in a Starbucks. I do think it is funny that there is like an entire cohort of people who have all the decision-making power in this country who get home shaking like dogs that have been left out in the rain, filled with dread that at any moment they're going to turn their head and witness a boob. Like,
no, that's the thing. It's just like we talked about this on our Patreon, but there was someone who left, I'm sure it was a bot anyway, on our YouTube video of the podcast, who said, like, I can't believe you just want to push more sexual, dark, violent content on our children.
The commenter on YouTube accused us of being groomers.
Oh, that too.
He didn't think
of course.
that Hallmark should have an anti-gay people policy.
But like, all it's giving is, so you're very scared of being triggered. Is that what it is? That's what they're saying.
Again,
right? Like,
a recurring situation that I think is almost farce to point out at this point, because it's woven into the fabric of the entire, cohort, that the people who are constantly complaining about people being triggered are in fact the only people who seem to ever be triggered by literally anything.
And they're so emotionally distraught that the idea of seeing a blade on the TV is gonna like cause them to spiral completely.
So again, I also think this kind of goes like hand in hand with exactly what we talked about in the Balenciaga series, because what he's saying is, again, what the people behind the whole Balenciaga moral panic have said, which is that we need to live in a world that has been sanitized of basically anything that makes you feel anything at all, that causes you to think, that upsets you in any way.
Fun
that we need to live in a world. No,
only.
Not even fun pink pastels, because that's groomer imagery now.
Oh, sorry, you're right. I forgot, of course.
We need to go home and we need to watch the equivalent of a white woman make pico de gallo salsa for a recipe involving canned beans. Like, I think like that is like the level of content that they want, right? Like, Barefoot Contessa is too edgy, right? Like, we need,
because she puts a jalapeno in there and that scares the shit out of
she's
them.
Importing those jalapenos directly from Central Mexico. Like,
exactly, you're
there's
right.
too much there, right? That's even too much. Now we're talking about travel. Oh my gosh, you're triggered.
We're talking about leaving the United States? Oh my.
Like, again, it's like they want to completely sanitize the world. And part of that means removing any trace of people that aren't white, Christian, evangelical, white supremacists that, balk at like even the barest mention of like a little wrist flick, right? Like, just completely spiral into shambles. Like, it's just interesting to me that like in a time when we have literally watched a group of people whip a moral panic into existence about a teddy bear in a leather harness, we also have a man who previously ran one of the most influential cable networks to ever exist, saying on a podcast that nobody listened to that he wants to create a world where people can turn on the TV and not feel bad.
It's like, I can't even think about it. It's honestly like too much to think about.
I hate to say it, but friend of the podcast, Enrique, was so right when he said that all they want is Cocomelon world. Like, that's really what everything boils down to.
It's like
now.
An algorithmically generated, color-coded,
give
like,
them
sing-along.
Cocomelon world or give them death. Like, that's literally the only thing that will satiate their hunger. And it scares me, to be honest. I hate to sound like doomy and sad, but like it does frighten me that there are people
we do have to remind ourselves,
engineering the world.
I do feel like this is a shrinking community, though. Like, this is a small group of people that are getting louder and louder and angrier. I don't think that means anything,
though. I think historically speaking, if we look at like people who have made decisions throughout history and their relative scale in comparison to the people they have decision-making power over.
Yes,
I don't think the fact that there is less of them or not very many of them ultimately really matters, because look how much attention has been spent on Candace Cameron Bure speaking.
To be fair, it does also dull the sharpness of other content that's nearby it as well.
Yes.
Like, it tries to influence and affect other content as well.
As a podcast for indulging him to begin with.
Exactly.
I have enough. You know what? I'm losing words. Do you see this in real time? My brain.
Well, you're using words that are big and are scary,
dying.
So you need to dumb it down. You get to a first grade read level.
And I've completely forgot my train of thought, so I really think it's a good time to keep going in this podcast, even though I can feel myself slowly withering away as we continue. So he also says, quote, We want our talent to be role models and represent us well and overall reinforce the really positive sides and that are life affirming, he explained. Quote, there's so many people who are role models who we all know shouldn't be role models.
Oh, that's the quiet part out loud.
And again, it really speaks volumes that he gave this interview not weeks after saying gay people should not be allowed to exist on TV, right? Like he's like
those are the role models. The Zola gay couple.
He's like, my all white, all heterosexual, all evangelical cast is really asking questions about whether or not I support people who are not that, you know, like, so he goes on to say also, it's a very unique concept, speaking of GAC community, because in the world that we live in, unfortunately, social media, well, it can be a wonderful vehicle for a lot of different things and a lot of different learning experiences. It also has now become subjected to the sewer that is the entertainment business. Okay, now we're draining the swamp. He says, quote, it's very challenging, aside from even just the overall cultural issues, just the things that you see that are not family friendly. We have some unique assets that a lot of organizations that are much bigger than we are don't. And it starts with a great family of talent who are very much committed to our mission and to promoting us and to reinforcing what we stand for. So talent like Danica, like Lily, like Trevor, they are going to be on that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is Trevor the one who then ended up speaking out and going, okay. So
that was, just so we get his name right, Neil Bledsoe.
Okay, cool.
Who was Danica McKellar's co-star in a movie I don't remember the name of. Oh, Christmas at the Drive-In.
Oh, okay.
The fact that I recalled that so fast does worry me.
It does. It
Okay.
should be concerning.
So he also says, and again, I also think it's interesting that like he's running GAC family and GAC community like a pyramid scheme where he's like, we are recruiting actors who are Christians and can't find work to then recruit other actors who are Christians and can't find work.
No, it really is
to recruit more actors who are Christians and can't find work.
It really is the Ponzi scheme mentality of like, we have something the others don't. We're unique. Like this is get in while you can while it's hot.
It's like if Amway was only selling bad vibes. Like,
I mean, well, the secret weapon is like the tax forms they're like defrauding on.
So he says about the launch of GAC Family, which was set for the September 26th. So this was pre the launch of GAC Community. Says with its primary goal was to make families more intentional about the essential things in their lives. Quote, there'll be a planning calendar because part of our mission is to help people live life intentionally. And life goes by so quickly. And there's so many things about family and about faith and just overall life experience that get washed away in just the busyness of the day-to-day. We think that planning for family events, for holidays, for occasions, for really celebrating life in general is something really important. So we're providing what will be a planning calendar that we hope will be very useful to people and give them things to think about.
Oh my God, it's like so... And the way he speaks is so infuriating.
Again, it's literally a multi-level marketing scheme. But I also love it that he's like, we're like if Netflix gave you a bullet journal. Like,
and like truly D-list actors giving you advice shot on their iPhone on a Sunday afternoon for 5 minutes.
Again,
like,
guys,
that's the secret weapon.
The secret weapon on GAC Community is a mother-daughter Christian board game making duo. Like, we're really scraping the barrels of society. Okay. He also says that he says that he gave examples of Christmas traditions, noting that the holidays often sneak up on all of us amid our busy schedules. Quote, at Christmas time, there'll be the day you pick out your tree, you can put that in your planner, and then the day that perhaps you will think about Advent and the real meaning of the season. Over that period of time, the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, you can celebrate that intentionally and all those things that we hope will be utilized to just make people's lives more fulfilling. The primary focus for us is serving our audience and getting to know our audience and reacting to our audience and satisfying our audience and making them happy, we will work hard to do that, and we want the feedback for not doing that. We really want to know if we're missing the mark, and we will work to fix it.
Okay, I already was going to say before that last statement that this is giving like when you need to hit your word count for your like college paper, like that was the vibe already, but saying audience 4 times.
Again, I do want to know who used the GAC family planner for Christmas. I do want to know. Like, I need a boots on the ground. If you're home for the holidays and your family pulled out a GAC community planner to live intentionally this season and remember when Christmas at the Drive-In premieres so that you can also remember to pray beforehand, please write us in at eatingforfreepodcast@gmail.com. I do need to know.
It's given like the Herbalife conventions, yes. Like the Herbalife like family meetups. Oh my god! Like, why are we centering our life around this?
Do we think that by next year there will be GACCon?
Hearing that out loud is
Great American Convention.
It'll be an ornament fest, basically.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm,
and then a Bible fest as well.
Okay. Oof. Now, we've talked a lot about Great American Family. We've talked a lot about Bill Abbott, and I think we've like pretty firmly established what is at stake here for the future of society and our sanity.
Jesus is
this year. Now, what we haven't talked about, and I think where we can end, is the numbers.
Oh, I see a graph here that is definitely not good for Great American Community.
Now, I want to shout out Decider for crunching these numbers. This is like my personal favorite kind of entertainment reporting, and this is phenomenal work. So shout out to Decider, where we are going to be getting all this data and also sourcing quotes from and synthesizing kind of your analysis on all of it. So thank you again, Decider. Link is in our bio to see these beautiful graphs up close.
Link is in our bio.
In person. Yeah, no, you can go find us on Great American Community. Okay. Now, this is from Decider. So this first graph that we're looking at, and we're going to skip a little bit down, right? Decider says basically everything we've already said, which is that, Great American Family has been talked about so significantly in the media over the last 3 months. And in many ways, by being homophobic, Candace Cameron Bure ran basically the perfect op to get people to talk about this network at all, right? So that's why we're talking about them. But do the numbers really stack up to just how many things people are actually watching from Great American Family? So this first graph shows per million how many views the average premiere for both Hallmark and Great American Family got. The green line is Hallmark and the red line is Great American Family. Now, remember, these are points per million, okay?
It's definitely a red line.
Now, on October 23rd, we have 2 million views for the premiere of a Hallmark movie. That same day, on October 23rd, we have about 250,000 views for A Great American Family. If that.
That's like, what, an eighth?
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit more closer to this time. November 27th, when really the holiday season kicks off for both channels, we have, now this is stunning, we have 3.25 million viewers for our Hallmark movie premiere. Okay. We have not even 100,000 for Great American Family
like
on the same day.
Like, it's clearly on the zero line, but like just a bit above,
now,
like a pixel or two.
Decider has kind of basically the same analysis here. So, quote, "Is this surprising? It could be to some, considering that the coverage around Great American Family feels a bit both sidesy, always presenting the network as an actual rival of Hallmark's and rarely ever reporting on the network's barely measurable ratings. Just look at the graph above, which charts all the times that a Hallmark movie went head-to-head with a Great American Family movie this season. Of the 14 Christmas movies aired on GAF through December 8th, 4 of them, Catering Christmas, A Royal Christmas on Ice, Christmas at Pine Valley, and I'm Glad It's Christmas, didn't even place in the top 150 cable programs of just the night that they aired."
Oh, good God. Oh, good God. Like, they're not even qualifying cable networking at all. Like,
no. And think about this again, just to be clear, you guys. not like top 150 cable channels of the month, year,
like
whatever.
How many cable channels are there?
150 programs of just the night that it premiered. Imagine, like, realistically how many channels there are left that are like airing original content on cable.
Right.
And they don't even place in the top 150 of the singular night.
Oh my God.
Okay. Now, by comparison, on the nights that seemingly no one was watching Great American Family, Hallmark's Jolly Good Christmas ranked at number 8 on the top 150 channels.
That makes sense.
Number 8. Okay.
That's literally top 10
I
cable
don't
networking.
think we could talk about like how staggering that is. Okay. So Lights, Camera, Christmas ranked at number 12, Three Wise Men and a Baby ranked at number 6, and Haul Out the Holly ranked at 11. In every single instance, these Hallmark movies were the number 1 scripted program of the night. So
wow.
This is actually something that I think is something we've discussed previously when it comes to ratings, but I'm a little bit of a ratings fiend. Mm-hmm. And I think something that people don't really remember, maybe because most of us aren't watching live TV anymore.
I mean, it's completely becoming obsolete.
The most watched programs on like television, live television, are reality programming and sports. Yes. Those are what people are watching. Mm-hmm. And I'm including the news in the reality programming. Like reality, either scripted reality or unscripted reality, and sports are what people watch. Usually scripted series start coming in at the ratings around like number 10 of the night because they just statistically are harder to like just turn on for the day, right? Yeah. The way the news and sports are. So just to be clear, why?
Especially now with DVR and streaming.
Just to be clear, because especially when you're seeing things like they're at number 12, but they're the number 1 scripted program of the night that they're on. That's why I'm making
everything else is reality and news.
So, and also just to throw more numbers out there, and I'm getting this again from Decider, quote, of the holiday movies that aired between the season's kickoff on October 21st through December 8th, Hallmark's holiday movies averaged 2 million viewers each. Hallmark Movies and Mysteries movies averaged 877,000 viewers each. Lifetime movies averaged 428 viewers each. And Great American Family movies, the ones that charted, averaged 282 viewers each. 282,000. This is all in thousands. Without factoring in the 4 films that didn't chart, Great American Family is pulling in better ratings than the original holiday movies airing on some networks like ION, Up TV, and BET. But unlike those, GAF, the majority of holiday movies aired on those networks, failed to make the ratings daily charts. If Hallmark has any competition, it's CBS. The 2 movies airing on CBS during the range in question averaged 3.34 million viewers, but remember, CBS is a major network and Hallmark is a cable network, so CBS's audience is naturally larger. Mm-hmm. And even if CBS beats Hallmark in ratings, they only offer a 10th of the original movies that Hallmark does. And that's, I think, also significant about Hallmark's impact. And I'm just like talking again when we're thinking about ratings in parts per million, is CBS is averaging like 3 million for its original Christmas movie programming, but it's offering like less than 5, right?
Yeah.
Hallmark is averaging 2 million and it's offering like 50.
I was going to say, yeah.
So the fact that each of those movies with a greater pool being diluted by a broader range of movies are still averaging 2 million is, I think, huge, and shows that Hallmark is like undoubtedly the leader in this space.
The consistency is always more important in the long run.
And it shows maybe why Bill Abbott is like so determined to make the conversation like it is Great American Family versus Hallmark, because you're trying to put yourself in the same arena as the top dog, right? Like it's kind of like I'm sorry. I hate that I'm about to make this joke.
Oh,
okay. Britney Spears impersonator on Drag Race, remind me of their name.
Derek Barry.
Derek Barry. Yes. It's like Derek Barry tweeting hashtag Derek Barry for All Stars 4. Who said this?
No one.
And then you Google it and like literally no one tweeted that. It's literally exactly like that, right? It's like Bill Abbott tweeted, "Oh my gosh, Great American Family, #1 holiday channel on cable. Who said that? Oh my God, you guys are so crazy. I love you. And then you Google the hashtag and like 0 tweets.
What's that thing that Twitter did during COVID? Like, this tweet might contain misinformation.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So.
Oh my God.
So again, like we can talk also a little bit about this second graph where we are seeing the Google Trends, which is obviously interest over time. Now, Matt, read me the 4 lines and the corresponding colors. You can see there if you zoom in. I'm sorry if
no, I can read it. Okay. Yeah, so the blue line, should I mention how...
No, don't mention just yet.
So blue line's Hallmark Channel, red is GAC, yellow is Great American, Great American Family, and then green is GAF.
Yes. Now, on November 27th, 2022, when the holiday season kicked off officially... What was the Google trend for the Hallmark Channel?
On November 27th?
Yes.
100.
What was it for GAC?
23.
What was it for Great American Family?
7.
And what was it for GAF?
2.
And both of those were transsexuals trying to find underwear. So this is more from Decider.
This is the problem with making all these weird acronyms and names that nobody can remember.
Yes.
All sound the same. Like, you're just setting yourself up for failure. But even if you combined them all, it's still like 30 something.
Yeah. So, quote, Hallmark's dominance extends beyond ratings and into the cultural conversation. This is where it seems like Great American Family is making major headway, but the stats don't back it up. Looking at Google search trends for the duration of the holiday movie season, Hallmark is consistently on top. Hallmark made headlines this holiday season too, primarily for the record-breaking ratings of 3 Wise Men and a Baby. As for GAF, it's very hard to track its imprint because the network was known as GAC last year. Great American Family this year is part of Great American Media and has a lineup of movies called Great American Christmas.
See, like, it's just bad branding.
Now, could you look up the plot of 3 Wise Men and a Baby for me? Because I suspect that's the gay movie, but I want to be sure.
Oh, are the 3 Wise Men gay? But
I don't know. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just want to see if that's one of like the movies that Bill Abbott was mad at for being diverse, because I'm interested. Is it the gay one?
Here we go. 3 Wise Men and a Baby. It looks like it, but maybe not. Oh no, 3 brothers. Three brothers are surprised when they find themselves forced to care for a baby during the holidays, during the journey. Oh yeah, it's whatever. Truly nothing burger of a movie.
Just a nothing burger of a movie. Okay. Yeah. That I felt like would have been fun.
It's literally just 3 brothers who have to learn how to take care of a baby, and they have them really holding a bunch of like baby
I
things,
do
like,
think
they don't know what they're doing.
I do think that
they all look
Movies
gay.
Guide is trying to suppress the truth by not including the movie on their reviews of movies.
Interesting.
Yeah, no review of 3 Wise Men and a Baby.
That was literally the most watched TV movie of all cable in 2022. I'm getting this from Variety right now.
So again, I think that they're trying to suppress the truth. I think they're trying to suppress the truth on Movie Guide. Do you think Bill Abbott has called Movie Guide and said you can't review Hallmark movies? I think that'd be kind of funny.
I mean, it's very interesting.
I also just have a question while I look at this. Do you watch Christmas movies? Are you a fan of Christmas movies?
I mean, some movies, but not really particularly. I'm not like, I need to watch a Christmas movie, but I always will watch some, kind of like, Halloween time, though I love horror movies much more.
Okay.
I am going to be watching The Grinch, the 2000 Jim Carrey one, because that one is absolutely iconic.
You're watching it without me?
I might do a server stream. I'm not sure, but I have family visiting, so it's making it very complicated. I can't do family and stream at the same time. It's very difficult.
Am I not your family?
You're not the family that's going to be living in my home during Christmas, though. But
you don't know that. I live in your walls. Okay, so I just wanted to say that the gay movie is called The Holiday Sitter, and we did talk about that last year. We do not have ratings for The Holiday Sitter. Actually, if you could look up Holiday Sitter premiere ratings, I would love that.
I'm on it.
Okay, so more from Decider, quote, "The truth is these people aren't talking about Great American Family so much as they're talking about the network star and CCO, Candace Cameron Bure. That spike in search for Bure's correlates with the actor's Wall Street Journal profile wherein she said GAF's family holiday movies will focus on traditional marriage, blah, blah, blah. We've already seen this. This uproar definitely raised Bure's profile, evidenced by related search interests settling down at a point higher than it was prior to the WSJ piece, but has it helped out Great American Family's ratings at all? Despite being the first major Hallmark star to pack up and move, Danica McKellar's Christmas at the Drive-In was watched by 482,000 people. By comparison, 1.98 million were watching Hallmark's A Royal Corgi Christmas at that time. This is a major step down for McKellar, whose You, Me, and Christmas Trees was watched by 2.2 million people last year. That's a 361% decrease in McKellar's audience year over year. The news is even worse for Bure, the undisputed former queen of Hallmark, whose jump to gaff garnered the most attention that the network has ever seen. Her movie, Candace Cameron Bure Presents A Christmas ... Present, got a primo Thanksgiving weekend release in the wake of the kerfuffle around her big Wall Street Journal profile. A Christmas ... space present was watched by 462,000 people. That's 20,000 less than McKellar's movie.
Wow.
So Candace didn't even get the most. Isn't that kind of iconic?
Here we go. Actually, I was able to find it. That is iconic. It is the holiday sitter brought in 1.453 million same day viewers and ranked 0.21 in the 18 to 49 demographic.
Okay, so that's still very good.
Oh, I was gonna say that's multitudes, like 10 times that of the best. It
has a more competitive time slot though because it's the Christmas season, so December 11th. Of course. You're getting more also repeat Christmas viewings that year.
Oh, absolutely. But I was also going to say this earlier, even when looking at that Google Trends sheet, I feel like the Hallmark Channel just has such a bigger cultural cachet of people who are absolutely not on the computer whatsoever, not searching it, not looking it up. They're just always going to be tuning in. It's literally a long-standing tradition for people.
I think this is also the thing, right? Like, I will say this about the Hallmark Channel. I have been exposed to the Hallmark Channel a lot in my life. It was obviously omnipresent growing up, and it is still omnipresent in my parents' household. That's not a read on my parents. You know, I have sat and watched many Hallmark movies, especially at the Christmas time. But all of it is very seamless, right? It's very just drop in and enjoy.
It's meant to be that.
You can turn on the movies at any time, at any point in the movie, and just go along with it because they're very easy to digest. It's all about like very easy to understand stakes. There's not too much happening between the various plots, right? Like I'm sure like between A Royal Corgi Christmas and A Christmas Sitter, the difference is one has gay people and one has corgis, but the basic premise is probably the same thing.
Christmas and maybe God and family.
And the packaging on the channel itself is recognizable because it is literally Hallmark, which is, again, omnipresent in most people's lives growing up. And probably still to this day, especially if you're in the suburbs, right? Like, in our lives, how many Hallmark cards have we got and given? And if we're not getting a Hallmark card, have we described greeting cards as Hallmark cards?
Oh, no,
because
I was going to say.
It is like Photoshop, right? Where it's like, oh, I got to go get a Hallmark card, even if you're not actually getting a Hallmark card. So Great American Family already was operating at a loss, culturally speaking. But when you actually look at the way that it is presented, it is like so classic anti-cancel culture warrior aesthetics where it's not just ugly, but like poorly designed, unintuitive, low quality, like the app, Great American Community, right?
Garbage.
There's a title card meaning like on Apple TV and on like Roku, you know, when you're scrolling through like HBO Max, right? Those movies, the posters for the movies, like title cards, right?
Yeah, literally just the main slider.
Or as we would describe in former job, just a card, like a card, a glyph, a tile, that kind of thing. The tile that you see first when you open Great American Community is like rent now. Candace Cameron Bure presents A Royal Christmas Present or whatever. You click on the tile and it doesn't even do anything. It's just a placeholder.
It does that thing that some apps do where like the cursor or whatever is just rotating the tile a little bit, like perspective shifting it. But like it doesn't actually click. You click it and it clicks, but it doesn't go anywhere, do anything, or open anything.
And there's
like 3 tiles at best too.
And we were
not
also,
even much to advertise.
The link that you'll see on our Patreon to watch the movie on YouTube has like some commercial breaks in it, which we commented on while watching
the little like chyrons of things coming up.
The chyrons that you see are literally Windows Movie Maker. Like, I'm not even saying that to be mean. It's literally a Windows Movie Maker preset.
It's pretty bad. Like people on YouTube doing like the subscribe click now shit is like miles
Remember
ahead.
when we were 12 and making Naruto X Sasuke?
Well, I'm sure you remember.
Nickelback photograph AMVs on YouTube. And the title text was Comic Sans, white Comic Sans fading to black on a black title card. Like that's literally Great American Family.
It's like shit you can make on your iPhone.
But red and green.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just interesting to me that like he seems to be like so set on usurping Hallmark, but seemingly learned absolutely nothing about what made Hallmark interesting at all.
Which is like actual style and creative guidelines.
And I think it also is a lesson that we've learned a lot on this podcast, but also I think that we try to get other people to think about a lot is that, you know, so often the media and specifically in stories like this, where there becomes like some sort of like moralized panic about Christmas movies, gay people in movies, Balenciaga, sexualizing children, drag queens, trafficking children, that kind of thing. Usually you have like a few really large names all working in tandem to like make a story much bigger than it really is. And when you talk about like studios or whatever, usually like one or two people will stand out, right? Like especially in Hollywood when we talk about directors, right? Like these are the guys making the movies. But you look at the things like Hallmark especially, and we talk so much about Bill Abbott. He's the guy that made it what it is. And Candace Cameron is the queen of Hallmark. But how...
And here we are.
The two head honchos make something that looks like literal shit. And so when you actually think about this, remember that these things are products of literally hundreds of people collaborating in tandem.
With like long-standing branding workflows and production pipelines with like many external partners and people and contributors.
Which is something we talked about with Balenciaga too, right? Where it was like, one of the things people talked about is like, how could Demna do this? And it's like, there was at least 100 people who saw these photographs before they went, right?
Let's look at the industry and how it works.
At our old job for one of the world superpowers.
Yes, you could say.
For a single image that was going to go on TV.
Oh, good God.
How many people touched that image,
like
you think?
150, it felt like. And it went all the way from the bottom to the top like 3 times over.
Yes. And so I think that that's also something to consider more often because, you know, these people, and I think I took that one way with like how good things are, but also they want to live in a world where everything is like so completely sanitized, and they're mad at these figureheads in culture having like, you know, the control to put sex and violence on TV. But most of the art we watch is not something that was made by one person in isolation.
God, no.
It's made by a bunch of people all working together so that you enjoy yourself. And the people yelling about that are the people who want to have singular control over everything that we watch.
Well, I was going to say, it's very like megalomaniac energy with like just assuming that you are the only arbiter of talent and taste with this network, but also to assume that you can do it with like 90% of the budget and resources stripped away. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it kind of like large reach here, but it kind of reminds me with Elon going into Twitter and being like, yeah, I can make this work. I have no experience in this. I have no context to do this. I'm going to also fire everybody and show that it can work without that. And we're seeing quite literally how completely destructive and explosive that concept is.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine working on these films and working with this network is probably awful. They're probably just throwing all their shit together randomly. It's giving startup energy where like, you know, HR doesn't even exist yet and the paperwork is never finished. Like, and also we say this when we're watching Kirsten's on Candy Cane Lane, but you like rarely even see a full shot of a house or like the decor that is like the titular aesthetic of the movie because you can tell they don't have the budget to do that or the resources.
It was also the most nothing of a movie. Like, it literally,
first of all, that like,
it felt like it had the artistic value of those commercials of doctors hawking like baby genius products in your doctor's waiting room. Like, you know, where it's like the Learning Channel and it's like 3 doctors
it's like
sitting
a
in
stock
a circle
images were
and being
sentient.
like, yeah, read this book to your baby, or like the dentist's magazines, like the magazines in the
and you look at it and you're like, is this only exist here? And like, if I go through all the pages, are they going to be full of information? Are they going to be empty?
No, they're all ads. It's literally all ads. Not even for dental products either. Okay, well, that's all we've got for you guys today. We are going to put out one episode next week. week. And it's just going to be kind of a retrospective of the year and some of the stuff that we talked about and kind of what we've been up to. A little more casual, as you will say, because this was really our last series of the year. So we want to thank everyone for listening. It's been really fun to look into this. I think it's kind of a perfect way to end everything we've been talking about with Balenciaga and the Try Guys and Don't Worry, Darling, and just basically everything.
Somebody smarter than us and someone has much more time than us will definitely go through all of our topics and then create the most insane Venn diagram that's ever existed. Like Kamala Harris would be absolutely shook by this concept because there is like intersection and complexities that we can only see in visual form.
Oh yeah, no, we need to get the Queen of Venn diagrams on the case about what exactly the Venn diagram of the Try Guys,
what is the center
Don't Worry,
of
Darling,
this entire year,
and the Hallmark Channel is. We're gonna get there. We will explore that, but for now, please enjoy this, and also go on Patreon this week to not just hear a leftovers, but a very special Christmas present from us, which is a watch-along commentary to Christmas on Candy Cane Lane, which I think stands for itself, regardless of whether or not you actually...
I've heard some people just watch it without actually watching the movie that we're doing. They're just listening to it.
Listening to our Minions commentary without actually watching the Minions at the same time is a little dark. I don't want you to actually tell me that you did that because I don't think I could handle it. But
no, mentally, it's scary.
Yes, we are dropping 2 Patreon episodes this week, and we will also be dropping a second commentary next week in which we were gonna watch Candace Cameron's movie. We legitimately cannot find it anywhere, and we will not give the Christian traditionalists money. So we're gonna watch Lindsay Lohan's movie and return to tradition in a different way.
Absolutely.
But I just really want to thank everyone for listening to Eating for Free this year. I think it was our best year ever, and I'm really excited about what's going to happen in 2023. I can't even think about the fact I just said 2023 because
it's really terrifying.
2023 and me is going to be maybe the worst year. So
being closer to 2030 than 2010 is like it's a lot right now. Like the synapses are firing.
Wait, are we?
Yes, we're only 7 years now.
But it was
2020.
It was just 2023 years ago, and 2030.
Wait, what?
Wait. You said
I'm saying we're closer to 2030 than we are to 2010.
But why would we count time that way? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm just saying we're closer.
It really makes you think, we're closer to the year 5000 than we are to 0 AD when they crucified Jesus. And that makes you think.
Not true, actually. We're closer to 0 AD than we are to the year 5000.
Well, that shows
the truth shall set you free.
That shows that, we're closer to the year 4000 than we are to when they crucified Jesus.
There you go. If he allegedly was crucified.
Allegedly.
Well, wasn't he born 0 and then died 30 years later?
Catholics, get on it.
In the spirit of Christmas,
Goodbye. 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait, stop. Go to eatingforfree.com. Go to patreon.com/eatingforfree. I'm everywhere at Laura Croft Barbie. That's _Matthew Lawson. Mostly go to patreon.com/eatingforfree. It is literally how you can support this podcast in real time and help us keep making it and getting better at it and having all the time in the world to do it. So we love our patrons. We appreciate you so much. And we appreciate everyone who talks about this podcast on the internet, hearing what all of you think about the way that I repeatedly say, in my opinion, personally is a sense of gratification I cannot express in words. I can only express in song. And if I start singing, Matthew will crucify me like they did to Jesus in the year AD.
Not allowed.
So
the stigmata will appear.
Otherwise, go to eatingforfree.com to get all the relevant links and eatingforfree.com/merch to get that. Okay, now we can get out of here.
And leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes.
3, 2, 1. Merry Chrysler. Happy Honda Days.
Gays, they're trying to murder me.
Come on, if you know the words, let's go.
What do I think of her?
Yes.
I don't think of her.
Glass of red wine and a swisher. I think you get the picture.
Here I go. Oh.